morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you are in the world. I hope this finds you well. And welcome to Ski Bum Trading, providing you with tools and insights to sharpen your edge on the icy slopes of the markets. Like, subscribe, and if you enjoy the content and want more detailed analysis, consider joining the Ski Bum Trading Discord server. Link for that is in the description below. Today we're going to look at Bitcoin. We're going to look at a couple Kaspa charts. We're going to look at gold. We're going to look at the US stock market as well as some altcoins as they're performing this cycle compared to Kaspa. So the first chart looking at Bitcoin, it's worth noting that Bitcoin has finally come down to its 50-week moving average, and it is significant. It is worth noting and watching this very closely. The reason is, as you can see on the chart, when it breaks below it, it's not a good sign. And if we look even further and we bring up the 100 week and the 200 week, we can see when it's broken down below the 50 week, in multiple cycles, it's come down to the 100 week and then ultimately the 200 week moving average. And this past cycle, it fell down to the 350 week. So it's not necessarily a comforting thought to think at the present time that Bitcoin could fall below its 50 week. And if it fell down further to say the 100 week or the 200 week, which coincidentally happen to both be at 39,000 now and moving up. Just the other day they were at 38. So they are moving up, and we do have a golden cross on here, although I don't think they really mean too much necessarily, because when we had the death cross here, for example, Bitcoin pumped. So it's possible that a golden cross is bearish here. I mean, it doesn't really mean too much. It's not a super strong indication, I don't think. What I think is more interesting is that they're compressed here, as they were also in 2016 when this bull market was ramping up. So that was interesting, and I think it's worth noting the similarities here as opposed to where they were when Bitcoin hit the 50-week in previous cycles, and there was a big spread between the 50, 100, and 200 weeks. So like, for example, here, big spread, big spread, big spread. And it's different than when they were compressed here, and they were kind of compressed here, and they're compressed here. So we'll see. Maybe this is a bottom. I will say also, to just to be balanced, I did want to show the downside risk. It could very well fall down to these moving averages, but I hope it doesn't. So I'm looking. My bias is that it continues up, to be honest. But I am aware of the downside risk here. But to help bolster my bullish bias, I will say that there is a nice looking cup and handle here. And so it just coincidentally is matching up this lower side of this descending parallel channel. We are matching up with the 50 week here. So I see this going a number of ways. The two ways I see this going, the bear scenario is we could, come down here, back test, and then continue down, say down to the 200 and 100 week moving averages around 39K right now. We could also come up and we could get above and cruise up. So I see potentially two options here. And so we'll see which plays out. I do like that we have this potential cup and handle going. Especially we saw that happen on the stock market. We saw that happen also. We saw this also happen on gold. So you can see the similarities here. Let me close this. Let me close this. You can see the similarities in this shape. And I think it's very typical that people get bearish here. I remember here people were thinking that the stock market was peaking. There was a lot of talk about recession right here. So interestingly enough, looking again here at the bottom of this potential handle on this cup, there's a lot of talk about recession. Of course, the stock market could be overheated, gold could be overheated. So maybe we do get a recession and but maybe it just doesn't happen right away. We'll see. I'm no macro guru, and honestly, like the macro gurus tend to get a lot wrong. We've just seen them wrong every step of the way over the last few years. Markets have just gone up. They've been doom posting for a couple of years now, a lot of them. So we'll see. The technical analysis on the stock market, for example, um, was um, interesting because I think that I had, did I have it in here? Anyway, if you do want to see some of my calls and all that, check my pinned post on Twitter or pinned tweet, whatever they call them these days. Cryptographer with a UR at the end there. You'll find me there. But I did post about the stock market being a bit uh, too bearish right in here when there was this big cup and handle. I pointed it out. And I don't know if it's going to play out. I'll just point it out again. Ultimately, time will decide. Fate will have it, however it turns out. So we could see this go a number of ways, a couple ways. Um, so in the stock market, also, we are getting up there. We got up to the 1.618 fib level. This is a level that I was watching too in advance. So we have hit this. Could cool off. Gold is also hitting its 1.618. So we can see they're both roughly at their 1.618s. The only thing that hasn't gotten there yet, obviously, is Bitcoin. So does Bitcoin just like underperform or do we eventually see a rotation from the stock market and gold into crypto, Bitcoin? I'm gonna prefer to believe my ideal reality that I'm gonna try to bring about is that we see a rotation here, which is going to be amazing if it happens for crypto. Which leads me into Kaspa. I believe Kaspa has just been going sideways because of the indecision with Bitcoin and because Kaspa now has a higher market cap. Um, so it's taking more capital to move it. It really needs capital to push it to the highs that we would like to see. Our goals of, you know, 50 cents, a dollar, up to $5 potentially. We need to see some uh, capital going into Bitcoin potentially. And just to indicate, there's risk appetite in the market. But nonetheless, I do believe that Kaspa is holding up very well against Bitcoin. We can see that it broke out of this um, long held resistance, flipped it, and it is above the 20 and 21 week SMA and EMA, which is nice to see. So it is actually in a bull trend against Bitcoin, which, find another quote unquote altcoin that is, I think you'd be hard pressed. So that is nice to see. It's doing well. And I think people do trade this between the two. So this chart is, obeying various indicators and TA, like this trend line right here on the weekly, pretty clear. Uh, there were people trading that. And then we also have this, I mean, it could be, kind of looks like a running flat to me. Like um, we have this high that was set back in November of 2023. It hasn't even really come down to really significantly fall through that. We are floating above that. Um, so, we tested it, we wicked down below it, but we haven't actually broken it so far. And Kaspa likes to give people a bit of a scare, make them think it's all over, right? How many times has it been over for Kaspa so far? Let's count. Let's see. There was this, I believe it's this one. Yeah, this was a pretty clear, interesting trend line right here. And then over here, we are also, let me clean that up. Also, just basically tapping a trend line right here again. So, you know, fear here, right? Lots of fear here. And pretty much many times, like as we come down and we tap these trend lines, we get fear, right? I don't know if there was fear here, but I bet a lot of people were thinking it was peaking here, not necessarily breaking out. It's been taking longer here. I think that's just the effect of having a higher, like I said, a higher market cap just takes more money to move it, and then a combination of that with Bitcoin going sideways. So we need Bitcoin to break out, I think. But nonetheless, there's enough eyes on Kaspa now that I think that if you just look at the market cap, it's holding its own, in near the top 20. It hasn't really um, broken into the top 20 with gusto and stayed there. It's been floating around 22, I believe, last I checked, just under 4 billion. So I think it's just going to keep floating sideways because it's, to me, worthy of the top 10. You look at what's above it, you look at coins like XRP and Solana. You can come in here and look at a number of coins. Oh, that leads me to this chart, which is interesting too. We'll get into maybe those more altcoins in a second. Hopefully, I remember. But if we look at the low time frame, the stock market looks like toppy right here. And it could be a top, but it's interesting just to think about how long some of these massive bull runs on a high time frame have really lasted. Like there were some sideways periods in the like the 30s, for example, obviously, um, the 60s into the 70s, 2000 through like 2012. 13. They lasted quite a while, but also worth noting how long these bull runs were. All of these lines are the same length. Like I just, you know, did this sort of thing. You can see, right? They're all the same. These boxes are all the same. So what if, the date here, I don't know. Who knows? It's just speculative, right? But the date here is 2034. What if really we had just some minor pullbacks along the way? Like if you look on here, it's just like COVID's kind of a blip. It didn't actually last that long. Like here's 2019, right? And here's 2024. It depends how you look at time. What's a long time? If you're trading the 5 minute chart, or if you're looking at weekly charts, and trying to get in these lows and, out on the next peak or whatever on the, higher time frame. But relatively, like, what if this just cruised up roughly and you just play the bigger swings, um, and rather than just like trying to like time every little tiny move. Like this cup and handle, when you look here, because this was the cup and handle that we just showed, like right in here. Um, it looks kind of small compared to all this stuff, but it wasn't like insignificant at the time. Like there was a lot of fear in the market right here, and it was a good buying opportunity. And 2022 Bitcoin was also great. So if you can find those ideal times on a high time frame, that is those are the ideal moments to really enter the market. That's when I really sat down and I started trying to find the gems, and that's where I ultimately found Kaspa and started buying it down here on this. My first tweet, some of you may remember, was it had a flaccid schlong type of formation here. And so we kind of almost sort of have that sort of thing going on here. A little bit, you know. So it might, you can look at the chart and kind of see that sort of thing going on in various spots and what happened. They're not always as nice as this one was right there, though. Oh, this was a pretty, obviously this is a really large one here. But anyway, so we might have that right here. We might have that happening. There's some reasons to be bullish right here, I would say. There's just a lot of confluence going on in the markets overall. And then, again, taking a look at other altcoins from previous cycles like Solana and XRP, just to use XRP as an example, it never hit a new all-time high. It got to the 618 retracement level and it's crashed. And Solana got to that. I actually put a tweet out that um, Solana could be peaking right now, and it hasn't gone above the 618 or the like 786 here. And so we'll see what happens with Solana. We'll see if it even hits, makes a new high this cycle. But a lot of these things are down quite a bit from their all-time highs. It's really unfortunate to be if you were ever in that. I think it's wise to not dabble with coins from previous cycles because they have a lot of trapped holders, as I've mentioned on X, on Twitter, that it's going to add sell pressure to these coins. So it's not exactly ideal to be messing with them. And just like many, many altcoins on here, Matic is down what? It's even down more than I last drew this. 86%. Dogecoin is down, right? 86%. Link, promising in the past, but really I don't know what's going on with it, right? Chainlink Foundation has a ton of tokens, probably still. You want fair launch. I learned my lesson, trust me. And you want the best tech. That's why I found Kaspa and I was just all in it. So many of these things, Pepe, I don't know, maybe memes only get you so far. Maybe Pepe has another run, but nonetheless, it's down 59%. And we go and we look at Kaspa, and Kaspa is currently down 27%. It's not too bad. Um, there's a uh, down from up to high coins. Let's see. You can even just look at this on like CoinGecko. Um, Down from all-time high. Like Bitcoin, I don't know what these are. There's a lot of stable coins. I don't know what Fast Token is, but Kaspa and Bitcoin are neck and neck. 25, 27. This is all of the top 100, you know? Wow. Oh, it's got even. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is top 100. Okay. Some of those coins are down a lot. Sorry for anyone who's holding any of these. 99%. Wow. So that's, you know, I don't know. I've been in crypto for a while, and I realized what when I saw Caspa, it was really something different. So I'm all in Caspa still, and I just think it's going to do okay. That's just obviously not financial advice, just how I am allocated. So obviously, I have income outside of crypto, and uh, I'm not all in on crypto. So just as far as crypto goes, my crypto portfolio, it's all Caspa. So yeah, so we'll see how it all shakes out. It's very interesting. And just watching Bitcoin now. We're going to see what Bitcoin does here. Um, Kaspa as well. We had um, these moments where it dropped below its bull market support band. Um, and these moments were met with a lot of fear, but nonetheless, they've proved to be the best buys. Um, I think that because it's possible the market cap is undervalued, it will continue to kind of maintain, to kind of float around here. But we'll see. Because for it to really capitulate here, like the market cap would have to drop a lot, and I just don't think that it would get to market caps that just are too obviously undervalued for it. And I think people probably know it. So I think there's a lot of people, a lot of eyes on it, just trying to scoop it up. That's just my opinion, and that's just what I'm feeling. You get some um, a bit of chatter now on the internet about it, and I think that the awareness is growing, which is nice to see. So I think that if it can get back above the bull market support band again, even if it doesn't, if it hangs out a bit longer, um, like this was like 36 days or something like that. Down here we had time span of you know a month or so. We'll see. I just think that would be a good time to accumulate potentially. It could be, and who knows? Maybe by we get through September and then October, November into the end of the year, Bitcoin is pumping. Maybe it breaks out above it. Does this actual cup and handle thing? Maybe the 50-week holds. That's what I'd love to see. Of course, that's just my bias. But again, the downside risk is there. We want to just be mindful of where these other moving averages are. And it can get bloody if it really starts heading down. We just want to be mindful. So obviously it's good to be hedged in some way, whether it's just having a job or whatever, just being smart, don't do anything risky with your money here. If you're not having fun, you're doing something wrong. So just take it easy. And the slopes, the markets are icy, so you got to keep that edge sharp. Got to listen to a lot of people, make educated um, opinions, and really, if something's stressing you out and maybe it's the wrong decision, it's not time to make a decision. So just take it easy out there. Don't catch an edge and hurt yourself. The markets are like a sport, so there's real risk involved, and you just want to take it easy. And you can always just play with it while you learn with small amounts of money. You don't have to go crazy. And in fact, just it's not wise to invest more than you can afford to lose. So obviously none of this is financial advice. This is just my lessons learned, and sharing what I know. Hopefully it helps. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. Feel free to, if you're new here, subscribe, like, and feel free to leave a comment. And if you're interested in learning more about technical analysis, I'm available in the Ski Bum Trading Discord, the Patreon in the link in the description below, and pinned post will give you an invite link, and that's where I hang out, and I'm available for chats every day. So again, thanks for watching. Be well. Take care. Until next time.